Beardo Benjo.
Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another new VR games roundup. We just got treated to a ton of brand new VR games coming within the next 12 months at the Meta Gaming Showcase. Now do bear in mind, all of these games here aren't necessarily just exclusive to Quest. Some will be coming to PSVR 2 and some will be coming to PCVR. I've tried to include all the information we currently have in this video, but bear in mind it's still early days and some information probably hasn't been made public yet. So if some of these games don't say PSVR 2 and PCVR, that doesn't mean they're not coming, but it does mean it hasn't been announced just yet. Right, let's check out all the new VR games that were just announced. Before we get into the new game trailers, this video has been sponsored by Skydance, the developers of the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners series. Currently both Saints and Sinners games are on sale on the Meta Quest and Steam stores, with a PSVR sale coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. To celebrate this discount, Skydance have teamed up with VR Cover to give away 500 limited edition blood red Walking Dead Saints and Sinners facial interfaces for Quest 2. Look at it. It's so cool. I need one of these. If you would like to take advantage of the current discounts on both Saints and Sinners games, or perhaps you just want to enter the giveaway to potentially win one of these limited edition VR Cover facial interfaces, then head down into the description of this video and you'll find all the links you need to take part there. Good luck to everyone who enters, and thanks again to Skydance for sponsoring this video. Now, let's check out those tasty new VR games. Okay, the first new VR game I have for you today is Death Game Hotel. We're starting with a really weird one. Now this game comes from the developer Swery, I don't quite know how to pronounce his name. Swery65 might be the name you know him by. He's quite a polarizing video game director and he's created some pretty strange games that have cult followings, I'd say. Deadly Premonition is probably his most popular release, and I still can't quite figure out if Deadly Premonition is so bad it's good, genuinely just good, or genuinely just bad. It's a strange game, and this game looks to be no different. In Death Game Hotel, you seem to play a gambler who comes to a secret luxury hotel to take part in a new style gambling game. It isn't quite poker, it isn't quite roulette, it's something completely different. And in the game, you bet your body parts and ultimately your life instead of cash. In the trailer, you can see at some points that the players are losing their eyes, their ears, there's stakes going through people's hands. It's a very strange concept. It's like a new style Russian roulette, and I'm excited to see how this one shakes out. I cannot quite believe that this announcement didn't take place in the main Meta Gaming Showcase. This was in the pre-show. Powerwash Simulator is coming to VR. I'm so excited for this. I've played the original flat screen game for a horrendous amount of hours, and if it translates well into VR, complete with co-op and the full campaign, yep, I'm going to put another 100 or so hours into this one. Powerwash Simulator VR coming to Quest 2 at some point in 2023. Now this one isn't technically a new game announcement, it's just a new DLC or add-on, but I wanted to include it anyway because I absolutely love Walkabout Minigolf. These are the newest courses coming to the game. First up we have Journey to the Center of the Earth, coming out in June, which is really cool, and then a new series of courses based on supervillain lairs, so crazy hollowed out mountains complete with lasers and probably sharks and things like that. Very cool concept. The game is also confirmed to be coming to iOS, so you'll be able to play it on iPad and iPhone, and it's got crossplay with the Quest, which is really exciting. New Walkabout Minigolf coming soon. Now, I was never really a Samba The Amigo fan. It's not a game series I've ever actually connected with, so this announcement didn't do a huge amount for me, but I know there will be people out there who find this absolutely amazing, and it's great to see Sega making more VR games. They've got Sea Smash VRS coming out this year, and now this as well, so there are chances for other Sega properties to come to VR in the future if they are interested in playing with this tech. Really cool to see. Now, Samba The Amigo looks like it's got a full suite of licensed songs. You've got Bon Jovi there, Ariana Grande, there's a few other artists I noticed as well. So it's kind of the Just Dance of VR. You shake your maracas in time to the music, you strike the poses, and it just looks like good, wholesome family fun in VR. I'm sure this will be a big hit for kids, younger audiences, and as I say, families. Samba The Amigo coming this year. In my opinion, the very best VR escape room simulators are the I Expect You to Die games. So I'm so excited to see that we're getting another one this year in I Expect You to Die 3, and it seems to be evolving in some really unique ways. One of the levels showcased in this trailer seems to be taking place in a moving car, which is a cool new way to change the formula and give players something new and exciting to do, because most of the levels take place in static environments. So barreling along a highway and trying to solve a puzzle and survive ultimately, that sounds great. It's a cool new way to revitalize the franchise and change up the mechanics somewhat. You also seem to have a floating robot flying companion in this one, so you're not strictly alone. You've got a friend that can kind of keep you company. It's more I Expect You to Die. I love these games. It looks fantastic. Can't wait to play this one. Next up, we have a super short trailer for a brand new stealth-based vampire game, Silent Slayer Vault of the Vampire. This also comes from Shell Games, who are the developers of I Expect You to Die, but this is a very different looking kind of game. As I say, stealth, vampire hunting in VR. Very, very cool concept. And this isn't the only vampire game that's just been announced for VR. Vampires making a comeback. Move over, zombies. Also announced at the Meta Gaming Showcase is a brand new trailer and more information for Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. Now, we've known about this game for quite some time. They announced it at last year's Meta Gaming Showcase with a very, very short teaser trailer. This new trailer goes into more depth about the Ghost Lord character himself, and it seems to be that he used to work alongside the original Ghostbusters and has ties to the original movies. So it's great to see that this new game is trying to work with the canon of the existing films, and it takes place within that universe, which is really exciting for a Ghostbusters fan like me, because I want to hear more about the original Ghostbusters. I want Easter eggs that call back to those original adventures and movies, and it looks like the game is setting that up. We did also get a little bit more gameplay in this trailer, not a huge amount. We kind of haven't had the deep dive into gameplay that I'm looking for just yet, but I can't wait to play this. A co-op VR Ghostbusters game. It's just a match made in heaven, and it's being helmed, of course, by Dreams, who very, very rarely, if ever, miss one of the very best VR game development studios. Can't wait to check this one out. Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. Another genre that works perfectly in VR is mech games. If you've got a game whereby you're sitting in the cockpit of a mech and then you play that game seated in VR, it just works beautifully, especially when you're reaching out and grabbing the handles to control the mechanized vehicle you're in. There's something about it that just links up perfectly. Now, this new game didn't really do a huge amount for me. The first time I watched the trailer, I wasn't super sold on it. But after watching it a few more times, I'm starting to get quite excited for this. Now, this is Underdogs, and it's a roguelike, physics-driven mech brawler. Those words, I don't think we've had a game like that before. We've got a lot of mech games and we've got a lot of physics-based brawlers, but I don't think we've got something that merges the two genres into one product and then throws in roguelike for good measure as well. And I absolutely love roguelike games. So Underdogs does now have my attention. The art style is also incredibly striking. I don't think this is gameplay, however. I do think this is a pre-rendered CG cutscene. And we did get a lot of trailers like that in the showcase. You'll see a few more today. Underdogs coming early 2024. I don't know why, but the trailer for Resolution's new VR sports game, Racquet Club, confused me. I might actually be an idiot. I can't quite figure out how you earn points or what the goal is of this new strange squash meets tennis hybrid. You seem to be playing in extremely small courts, really small enclosed courts, so there's a wall around the whole arena, and players in the trailer at least just seem to be rallying. I don't know if the point is to keep up a rally for as long as possible or land the ball in a certain section of the opponent's court, but I'm keen to know. It's great when we get a VR game which isn't just imitating an existing sport, but instead it's creating its own sport. I mean, look at these little 1v1 courts, they're tiny. It's strange, it looks like squash meets tennis. I need to learn more. Racquet Club, coming this year, I do believe. Now, this one is probably one of my favourite new VR game announcements in ages. Vampire the Masquerade Justice. I was not expecting this, and it's the second vampire game of the Meta Gaming Showcase. What's going on? Vampires are cool again. Now, I'm not typically very good at stealth games, but there are a couple of exceptions. Dishonored being one of them, and Thief being the other. They are two games I absolutely adore, and Vampire the Masquerade Justice looks very much like it's borrowing a lot from those games, as well as obviously borrowing from the existing Vampire the Masquerade series. This really does, to me, look like the closest thing we're going to get or have currently to a Dishonored VR game. And it's got vampires. You get to be a vampire. That is just the coolest concept. Now, this is coming to Quest and PSVR 2. A few of the games at the Meta Gaming Showcase are, and I'm so excited for this one. I am always on the lookout for good co-op VR games, and hopefully Dungeons of Eternity is going to be just that. This is a brand new dungeon crawler that can be played single player or in co-op with up to 3 players total, and it has randomly generated dungeons so that each time you play you're experiencing something different. Now, it's not clear at this stage whether it's procedurally generated or just randomly generated from a selection of different dungeon styles and combinations, but either way, it seems like you can play as different classes, there's loot to obtain, there's new items to gain, and it looks like a lot of fun. I think my only gripe at this very early stage is the visuals. It looks like a lot of other VR games. It kind of has that voxel style to the characters and the items, and it's just an art style or aesthetic that doesn't really resonate with me. But it doesn't matter if the fun is there, if this is fun to play with friends, and it's got legs and it's got a lot of replayability. The visual really will not matter to me, and it'll be all about the experience. Dungeons of Eternity coming soon. Right, this one was a massive surprise for, I think, everyone, or at least everyone who's old enough to remember the original game. Seventh Guest is coming back in VR. Now, I never played this myself, I never played it personally, but I had a friend who lived around the corner from me, and I used to go to his house and watch his older brother play it. I think the whole family actually sat around and watched as they played through the game. I vividly remember that it had the live action characters, it was real people, and as a young kid, it looked like I was watching a movie, but it was a little bit too scary for me. I think something stuck. I don't think the game is particularly scary. If I went and played it now, I probably wouldn't be that fazed, but as a child, it really did affect me, and because it was live action, or real characters showing up in the game, that kind of blew my mind. Can't wait to jump into this one and experience it for the first time myself in VR. Seventh Guest VR, crazy. Arizona Sunshine 2 was confirmed for PSVR 2 at the Sony PlayStation Game Showcase just a few days ago, and now it's also been confirmed for Quest platforms. Now, what that does mean is, and I'm not knocking the Quest here, but Arizona Sunshine 2 definitely won't look as good as the pre-rendered CG trailers we've seen so far. I know some people thought, oh my god, is it going to look that good on PSVR 2? And I'm sure it's going to look good, but it won't look this good. That's for sure. Okay, we're on to the big hitters now. Out of all the new VR games that were just announced at the Meta Gaming Showcase, I think these 5 are probably going to be the most popular amongst players. Stranger Things VR. I completely forgot this was a thing. This was also announced, I believe, last year, but now we've got some real chunky gameplay. Now, this is coming from developers Tender Claws. Now, the games they've made previously have been pretty out there in terms of the narrative. They've been pretty wacky games. If you've played Virtual Reality or Virtual Reality 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, Stranger Things obviously has a lot more of a straightforward narrative, so it'll be interesting to see them tackle a game like this, and especially one where you play as the bad guy. We get to play as Vecna, and most of the game seems to be taking place in the Upside Down. I can't wait for this one. I'm a big fan of the show, and I want to get even more immersed into the world. Stranger Things VR coming very soon. We already have a few very good fan-made Attack on Titan VR games, but we don't have anything official. That is, until now. Attack on Titan VR Unbreakable is an official Attack on Titan VR product, and as much as I'm really excited to get my hands on this because I love the anime, I don't think this trailer necessarily sells it in the way that they were hoping it would. It is just another CG trailer, so it doesn't give us any real understanding or representation of what the gameplay will be like or what the visuals are going to be like. And it is a cool trailer. It's great to see, but I would have liked to see some gameplay for this one. Apparently this is launching this year, so hopefully we're not too far away from a gameplay reveal. And yeah, I hope they can pull it off. The fan games are great, so I've got big hopes for the official game. I would be willing to bet big money on the fact that no one out there in the VR community knew this was coming. No one could have seen this coming, right? Bulletstorm VR. I thought Bulletstorm was completely dead in the water and we'd never see anything from this game ever again. I really like Bulletstorm. It was a silly Duke Nukem-esque in terms of its writing and dialogue, wacky over-the-top first-person shooter that was really rewarding to play because of all the funky ways you can kill people. Now this trailer doesn't do that much justice. I think this trailer is very, very PG-13, and I think they needed to do that to keep this in the showcase because they wanted people to watch it and they wanted the biggest audience possible to watch this. But the main game has you kicking enemies into cactuses, flinging them up into the air, blowing them up like fireworks. There's so many crazy ways to dispatch enemies, and the dialogue is pretty adult and pretty filthy. I cannot wait to play Bulletstorm in VR. It's great to see this one back. The shortest VR game trailer ever now, Assassin's Creed VR is real, it's coming, and we're getting a full reveal on June 12th at the next Ubisoft event. This could be huge. And finally, people kinda knew this one was coming. A lot of people guessed it when Meta were teasing the showcase, and then some screenshots did leak just before the big official reveal. Asgards Wrath 2 looks like an absolute technical marvel for standalone VR. This is a 60-hour action RPG with a huge story, characters to meet, side quests to embark upon, massive open world style portions of gameplay, deep combat, leveling up systems, a persistent dungeon crawling mode which is completely separate to the main campaign, and much, much more. We've never seen a game like this on standalone hardware. I understand that PCVR players will be upset that this is just coming to Quest and we aren't getting an enhanced PCVR version. I totally get that and I do sympathise. But looking at this just from a Quest perspective, it is baffling. And the developers at Sanzaru are clearly very confident because after this trailer, they proceeded to show 10 minutes of additional gameplay, which I won't show you here today, but you can go and watch. Asgards Wrath 2 looks bonkers. I never thought we'd see something like this on standalone hardware, or at least not for a very long time. This is going to set a very new bar for the quality of standalone VR games. And that's everything that was just announced at the Meta Gaming Showcase. These are all the new VR games we've just been told about. Now bear in mind, all of these games will be released within the next 12 months. Unless something goes wrong and there's a delay, which is usually out of our hands, we can't control that. But if everything goes to plan, we'll be playing these games within the next 12 months. Not all of them are exclusive to Quest, some are coming to PCVR, some are coming to PSVR2, and some we just don't know about yet. But there's a lot of great stuff here. Obviously, on top of all these amazing announcements, Meta also announced the Quest 3. Things are really heating up. 2023 is about to go crazy, and we're just days away now from Apple's VR headset unveiling as well. I really can't wait to see what everyone's working on. I'm very excited. It's a very cool time to be a VR fanboy, and I'm a pretty big VR fanboy. Let me know down in the comments below which of these games you'll be picking up, what you're most excited for, and yeah, let's continue the discussion down there. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please do leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon for another one. Take care, guys. See you later.